done this one through one of our webinars before. If not, do a kind of a quick overview about what to expect. So I'm going to do a quick introduction here real fast. Again, then we're going to roll in. We're going to talk a little bit about the hiring event for ASML, a little bit about what they do, the company, the position, what it's about, the logistics for the hiring event, those kind of things, and maybe answer some questions for people as well. All in all, it should take maybe 20 minutes, depending on the number of questions we get through. Just want to make sure everyone's on the same page and understand what the schedule is going into the hiring event itself. I am recording this, so if you want to take notes, by all means you can, but you don't need to, because I'm going to, when I get done tonight, I'm going to upload this to YouTube, and I'll send everybody a link to it as well, so you can go back and watch the recording if you want from this. So once again, it'll be up on YouTube a little bit later on tonight. So quick agenda, like I said, what we're going to do, we're going to cover the hiring event, we're going to cover the location, make sure everyone's on that same page there, what the schedule and stuff looks like. All right, so quick introduction from myself. I've talked with a number of you already, but I know you've been working as well with a number of my recruiters, Jim Lewis and Ray Cowell. So my name is Jay Corenda. I've been with Orion now for over 16 years. I'm prior Navy. I spent almost 12 years in the Navy. I was an aviation electronics tech. I went through myself as a candidate. I was placed by Orion through a hiring event similar to this here in San Diego many years ago. Moved to Chicago, did that for about 2 years, traveling the country teaching automation systems. Realized I didn't like Chicago so much. I'm originally from Jacksonville, Florida, and I was stationed in San Diego and Hawaii. So moving to Chicago was a bit of a weather shock, culture shock, if you will, as well. Anyways, moved back out here to San Diego. Got contacted by Ryan. Like I said, I've been with us for over 16 years, and one of the senior partners in the company. So I've been pretty successful, pretty lucky doing this over the years. My contact information is up there, my extension, my mobile number. We do like to text with you over the next couple of days, make sure you get all your schedule changes as needed, those kind of things as well. Of course, all of you should have my email address on there as well. And then we have someone who's going to help me or maybe answer some questions listening as well. We have Colin Hannigan. He's the account manager that works with ASML directly, has been working with the managers, understands their background, and everyone will meet him live tomorrow as well. But he is going to help out as online. And Jim Lewis is online too, I believe, and kind of help out with some of the questions if you guys have them as well. All right, so we're going to start off with some of the logistics piece first, and then we'll talk a little bit about the company side. So everyone should have already received a confirmation letter with all the details on it, but just a quick refresh. So everything will be held tomorrow, starting tomorrow at the Embassy Suites in La Jolla. It's in between the 5 and 805 freeways, 4550 La Jolla Village Drive. So when you come in, when you park at the hotel, I will tell you first of all, parking's probably not going to be too bad tomorrow, but it is a little bit pricey. They do have a parking structure, and I think they charge like $6-7 an hour, to be honest with you. There should be parking on the street, and across the street at the mall, some people park as well, but there's usually typically a ton of park in there as well. You should only be there for a couple hours tomorrow if you want to park in the parking structure. But when you come into the Embassy Suites, you'll come into a corner area. You'll see a series of conference rooms off to your left-hand side. You just go through the main lobby. We'll be in one of those ballrooms. I think we're scheduled to be in the Embassy ballroom, but that may change when you arrive. So we'll be looking for you. You'll be looking for myself, and we'll have an Orion sign and stuff out there for everybody as well. But everything will take place at the Embassy Suites there in La Jolla, in the main lobby area. So the event's going to go down. So we're going to start tomorrow at 4 o'clock. You'll get checked in at 4 o'clock. We'll do some introductions. We'll do the rest of our staff. Introduce myself again, Colin, Jim, everybody. We'll put a face to a name. We'll have you guys stand up and introduce yourselves real fast so we can understand your background and put a face to a name. Then we're going to talk a little bit more about the company. Colin's going to talk a little bit about some inside information about the company, the managers, what he knows, keys to successful interview with them from past history of working with them, who's been successful there, the kind of people they've hired, and really kind of what they look for in the interview. So what we try to focus on tonight and through the webinar is get you prepared, make sure you understand the company, a little bit about what they do so you can do your research. And then tomorrow is really kind of focus in and make sure that you understand how it's going to interview and what's going to make you successful in the interview. We'll do a class on a little bit about interviewing and what to do, what not to do. We'll probably break up and do some small group or practice mock interviews with the company starting their presentation probably right between 5 and 5:30 as soon as they arrive. Right now it's scheduled to kick off at 5:30. because they're flying into San Diego, and so as soon as they arrive, we'll get everything going for them. They're also hosting a reception. So when they're done presenting, I believe there's, and Colin, you may be able to correct me on this, I believe there's 6 managers coming in to do the interviews. So they can come in and talk and do a presentation, talk about their company and what they're looking for, and do a Q&A session for everybody. Then the reception is going to go over by the bar. There's a room set up, beer, wine, soda, water if you want. And the idea is to be able to mingle or have an opportunity to meet with the different people from ASML informally, and answer your questions. They get to know you. You get to know a little bit more about them. And it really helps out tremendously as far as your interviews go, make it a lot smoother because you get this opportunity to meet them the night before going into your interview. So, and that will last maybe 45 minutes typically. I think they usually order like cheese and some appetizers plus the drinks and stuff. And once again, they try to make it informal but very personal, so you get to understand them and a little bit about what the company does. All right. The interviews will take place on Friday. Everyone will be assigned an interview time. I'm going to be working on that tonight and tomorrow. So if you have any specific unavailabilities for Friday for interviews, let me know. You can email me or Jim, and we'll figure it out from there. So typically how it works is the interviews will start at 8 o'clock in the morning. They'll run on a 45-minute schedule. So 8, 8:45, 9:30, so on throughout the day they'll do an interviews. So we try to get you scheduled in like basically a morning. If you're available in the morning, we'll be able to arrange it that way, or in the afternoon. You'll have a check-in time 1 hour prior to your first interview, all right, or your interview. So, you know, there will be 2 groups of interviewers at the same time. There will be an A and a B. It does not matter which group you're really going to interview with when it shows up on your interview schedule, but they'll have 2 teams interviewing. They're looking to fill about I think it's 10 to 12 openings, and there should be about 16, maybe 18 cans of interviewing for those openings, plus a couple other openings that they may have available as well. So you'll have a check-in time 1 hour prior to your interview time. So if your first interview is at 8, you'll have a check-in time at 7. If your first interview is your interview is at 10 or 10:30, you'll have a 9:30 check-in, so on. So if you have any specific unavailability, like I said, please let us know. You can email me back. I've emailed everybody already, but you can email me back and give me a preference if you prefer morning or afternoon, or hey, I need the last interview spot. I can't accommodate everybody having the first or last interview. You got to understand that, but you give me some times to work with, and I can see what I can do as far as your scheduling goes. We'll have your room number, have everything all set up for you when you arrive on Friday. We'll meet you back in the lobby again on Friday morning. We'll do probably a little bit more prep work with you, and then we'll send you up and do your interview from there. Your interview, like I said, will last 45 minutes. You don't have to do anything else after you do that interview. We'll do feedback with the companies when they're done in the afternoon, and then we'll follow up with you on late Friday night if we get good news, or over the weekend, depending on what feedback is we get, and let you know how you did and what the next step is going to be. For them, typically there is not another step needed for interviewing. They're bringing their whole interview team to San Diego to make hiring decisions. So you will be able to go through the whole interview process while they're sitting here with you, and they should be able to select from those interviews who they would want to make job offers to. And then that's hopefully the information we'll be able to give to you come Friday night or maybe over the weekend, depending on if we get it right away from them or not. All right. So are there any questions on where or what the schedule looks like from anybody? Right. Perfect. Okay. Dress for tomorrow would be business casual. So Docker, slacks, button-down shirt, polo shirt, something like that is fine. You don't have to be in a suit or anything unless you choose to go that way. You can go what they call the consultant look, which is the suit, no tie, basically. If you don't have any other clothes and you want to just use that one outfit, you can just take off the tie. No one's going to know the difference, to be honest with you. We recommend interview attire for Friday. So once again, the recommendation is a suit if you have one. If you don't have a suit, don't rush out and buy a suit, and don't not come to the interview because you don't have a suit either. We've had both happen over time. So if you don't have a suit, long sleeve button-down shirt, collared, tie, slacks, Docker, khaki, something along those lines are fine. Once again, you're trying to put your best foot forward, a good presentation. They will be probably fairly informal, but you're trying to get the job, so you want to be able to look the part, if you will. All right. All right, so a little bit about the company, so you guys can do a little bit of research, make sure you understand a little bit about what you're going to be interviewing for. So when we talk to candidates about the semiconductor industry or microchips, they're like, I've never worked on a microchip. I've never worked on an IC chip or something like that, and we go back and say, well, it's not about working on the semiconductor itself, it's about working on the equipment or the machines or what they call process tools that are used to make the semiconductors, right? So we are familiar with our semiconductors look something like this. So obviously this is an Apple A9 chip that's in one of your iPhones. You have the ARM chips that are probably in your Android phones, and this is what we typically think of when we think of chips. And of course you got your Samsung processor as well. So if you look inside that first little, beneath the cover there is a little teeny tiny chip. That is the semiconductor that we're kind of referring to that gets manufactured. In order to manufacture that little teeny chip right there, that is first of all, it's billions of transistors on something smaller than your fingernail. A silicone wafer will go through about 19 to 20, 21 different process steps using big equipment, robotics, taking that wafer, think of like an old-fashioned CD or DVD, but much bigger, adding on chemicals and gases, etching it away, adding on positive and negative material to it, hitting it with ions, and then hitting it with a light source to kind of do it all over again to make a semiconductor. All right. In order to do that, you need these process tools. So ASML makes what they call lithography tools, photolithography tools. There's only 3 companies really in the world that make lithography tools for the semiconductor industry. ASML is number 1 by unbelievable numbers. The other 2 companies are Nikon and Canon, which have a very small percentage of the market when it comes to photolithography. ASML has been able to develop the best technology using what we call EUV, which we'll hit on here in a few minutes. But that machine that you're looking at right there is over $100 million. In some cases, it takes almost 6 months to install one machine into a factory or into a fab, like an Intel facility. It has 6 flatboards worth of equipment that goes along with it, and it takes over 16 technicians to maintain and sustaining techs to maintain one machine. So if you come out of the aviation community, if you think of how a squadron is set up, for example, it takes so many technicians or maintenance people to maintain that aircraft. Same goes for them. So these things are the size of a helicopter, really, to be honest with you. So on them are ultra-purified water, chemical and gas delivery systems. You have electronics, hydraulics, pneumatics, electronic control systems, power distribution, UPS systems. You name it, it has it between software, hardware, and electronics and type of equipment as well. So if you see on that picture right there, they're shooting basically a laser up through different optical sensors or optics, and really making a really pinpoint thing so they can shine that thing down on top of a silicone wafer and etch away a very specific small piece at, right now about 12 nanometers is what they're doing this at. All right. So another idea of what their equipment or machines will look like. You can see, if you guys could see this, you have this light source once again going through the different optical lenses that's really pinpointing it down on that wafer, and it's using robotics or moving that wafer in and out and being stepped, adding on or etching away certain material as well. It is the most complicated process they have in making a semiconductor, and it is actually the most sophisticated and most complicated process tool to learn and understand as well. So it's a pretty amazing company to go to work for. Here's an idea of some of their customers are. The world's largest memory company is Samsung, uses their tools. Intel, of course, is the largest microprocessor company and the largest foundry. A foundry is a company that manufactures chips for other companies. So TSMC is the primary manufacturer for all the Apple chips. So if you have an Apple phone or an iPad, you have like an Apple A811 chip, it's being made at TSMC in Taiwan. It's Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. All right, so a little bit about Intel, or ASML. Intel right now, which has about an 80% worldwide market share on microprocessors, is on the verge of making transistors almost at the level of physics right now. They're getting down to 7 nanometer process technology, and once they hit that, that is really right now the level of physics for them. Intel needs ASML, Samsung, all these other companies need ASML's extreme or EUV technology in order to get this smaller process down in order to make chips smaller, faster, and more efficient. So much that Intel invested over $4 billion in ASML to get them to develop this technology. So they want to be at 7 nanometers by the end of 2017. All right, as you guys can see on there, that's insanely small. A human blood cell is about 7,000 nanometers, and a DNA is 2.5 nanometers. And they're going to be making transistors at 7 nanometers, right? So they're world's leader in manufacturing of lithography tools. I'm not going to read all this to you. They're a European-based headquartered company. They're out of Veldhoven, Netherlands. They have technology centers in Japan and Korea, Netherlands, Taiwan, and the United States. United States headquarters is in Phoenix. A lot of their work and other side of their customer support teams are all based out of Oregon, Hillsboro, Oregon. They have a team out of New York, and a lot of the technicians will go train in Taiwan and also the Netherlands as well. So their tools are what they call imaging tools. So, and scanners and steppers. Like I said, the lithography is the most critical and probably one of the most sophisticated processes in order to make a semiconductor. So it's very precise in what they're doing. They, as a company, believe in bringing the best minds together to look for the kind of what they consider to be the best and brightest. They look at all sorts of backgrounds and experiences coming into them. There's a huge amount of diversity as far as the candidates that are on this call right now that have a wide background from the military as well. And there's avionics techs, there's electronics techs, there's fire control men, there's Marines as far as communications background, stuff like that go. A lot of that all fits what ASML does. And they kind of fits into their model as where you kind of bring the best and brightest together to be able to train you, and what they're looking for is that transferable skill set and ability to, say, maintenance and work on this equipment to be able to train you to work on how this stuff works as well. All right, so the position is what they call a global customer support field service engineer for upgrades. And so you can imagine a machine that costs $100 million is not something that's easily removed from an Intel factory and changed out, right? So you just don't go rolling up to Intel with one of these things in the back of your pickup truck. So in order to, what they can do is they can go in there and basically retrofit and rip out the guts of the existing tools, use some of the existing equipment that's in there, but put the new lasers and the new optics in there, for example, and the new steppers, and get the machine working to the newest standards without ripping the whole machine out of the factory. And that's kind of what the upgrades team is doing. They're going in and doing software upgrades, firmware updates. They're working on working on the electronics, working on the lasers, once again, pulling all that equipment out. So you're also going to be providing some technical support to customer service engineers and service engineers within the organization. You will install and do the major upgrades so to make sure the equipment operates. So you'll install the equipment, do the software updates, then the firmware updates, all those kind of things, and then make sure all this stuff works properly, and then that gets turned over to an existing support team. You will, like I said, you will implement and support on-site upgrades. You will develop a game plan going into that. You'll work with the customer. Your whole team will be involved in the upgrade. And then you have to be able to troubleshoot problems and escalate any issues to, say, your engineers if the tool or the machine is not working properly when you start getting the upgrades and stuff installed. All right. Great career, European company, what they call cafe-style benefits. I'll hit on that here in a second. They look for people that want to grow and develop, and you can go from a number of different paths within their support field customer support teams to coaching, training, developing. You have a lot of personal development within the company. They have people that do tours overseas in the Netherlands. They have people that do tours overseas in places like Taiwan as well. And then other people will move up into like field management or what they call sustaining engineer roles. So a lot of opportunity within ASML kind of worldwide. They're very competitive salary, performance-related bonuses. They've provided a bonus for the last 15 years straight. They provide profit sharing. They say they have the cafe-style benefits, which is medical, dental coverage, of course, matching 401k, all your different health insurance programs, health savings account, long-term care, all those kind of things. They have education assistance if you want to continue your education, go to school. They do 13 paid floating holidays each year, as well as I think it's 2 weeks of vacation a year. So 13 paid floating holidays means that if for some reason you're working and your rotation day or your work day falls on the 4th of July, you will work the whole day. You will make 2.5 times your pay rate because of the holiday pay for the whole day that you work. Plus, you'll get to take that day off in the future paid as a floating holiday. So that's how the holidays work. So not only do you get your 14 days of vacation and your, I think it's 40 hours of PTO, you also get 13 floating holidays to take as well. So you get almost a month off. I know if you're coming out of the military, you're probably used to that these days, but us civilians are not that lucky to get that much time off. So, but they have tremendous benefits. If you're stationed in or you live here in Southern California and you move to Oregon, they have a full relocation package that we'll cover with you. That includes a move, house hunting trip, and some other things. So full benefits as far as the company goes. The positions are all based out of Portland, the Hillsborough area, which is just a suburb of Portland. I don't know if anyone's been up there before. It's beautiful up there. It's about 70 miles from the Pacific Ocean. It's along the Columbia River, right where the Willamette River meets. It's kind of a cool, trendy area to live. It's definitely, if you're into beer, wine, food, it is probably one of the top places in the nation right now to be. Very granola-ish, a lot to do. You like hiking, skiing, fishing, anything outdoors is anything you can do within the area itself. You'll fall in love with the Portland area. So that's about it as far as the company goes and the position. So any questions that can I answer for you regarding about what they do? Nope. Perfect. You guys are making this easy for me. All right, a couple of quick things to think about for tomorrow, and we'll cover some of this stuff a little bit more in depth. I'm going to send everyone some basic not electronics questions, but prep questions to review. All right, so really what they're looking for is, as I said, they have a wide background of experience that they look at. They look for, your tangibles first, of course, but when you look at it, they look for someone that's done some sort of maintenance. You've done preventive maintenance, corrective maintenance, troubleshooting. You worked with hardware, software, networking in some cases and stuff is a big plus as well to how these tools function and operate. Because they do run on network and they do have big server side of kind of how they're processing what chips coming in and stuff as well. So it's kind of a combination of a lot of different things. So if you have a background in electronics, electrical, mechanical, if you've done preventive maintenance, if you've done corrective maintenance and troubleshooting, that's really what they're looking for, and then they're looking for the the interpersonal skills, what we call your leadership qualities. And this is more about what is important in some cases. Being able to do the job or being able to maintenance is one thing, but do you have the qualities? You hear on the TV and you're watching a football game, that person's a leader in the locker room. You hear that with the baseball team and stuff as well. Well, what that means is that not everyone's going to be a manager or a supervisor, but what qualities do you bring as an individual? What do you bring to the team? Have you kicked the can down the road for the last 5 years or 10 years while you've been in service, or have you done things that will stand out? Have you done things like quality assurance? Have you done any kind of continuous or process improvement? Have you made suggestions? Have you tried to implement change within your work center or your department or your shift, those kind of things? Are you safety-minded? Have you ever been asked to compromise safety and kind of stand your ground? Have you gone in and cross-rated, cross-trained, work with other departments, work with other shops, and to sharpen your skills, to learn about what they do, to help the other teammates out, be a part of the team? Have you taken tough duty assignments like IA duty billets or general duty billets or career enhancing billets or anything like that? Or have you volunteered for deployments or detachments and those things? Have you done things outside of the norm tell a lot about you as a person and what you bring to the table, meaning that, as an individual, and that tells them how you're going to succeed with them as a company. So that's really a lot about what they're going to be looking for and interviewing for is good, intangible, quality skill sets that you can bring to the table. All right. Try to keep it brief for everybody. I don't have anything else. I'll stand by and definitely answer any questions for anybody. Like I said, I did record this, so I'll get everyone the YouTube video here a little bit later on. But if you don't have any questions when I'm done, I'll hang online to see if anyone has any questions. Anybody? No questions, anybody? No problem, Dylan. Thank you. Jose, thank you. Thank you so much. Tim, I wouldn't worry about, they're going to just ask you some basic questions. Probably not very much, but once again, it will be focused around the ability to do, say, maintenance and then work around and work with customers. I'm going to send everyone a list of the behavioral questions to prepare for. Like, give me a time that you've experienced conflict with a coworker, for example, and then how did you deal with it? You're getting a lot of those kind of questions. Yeah, Jordan, you will. Thanks, Dominique. Appreciate it. I think it kind of varies, Anthony, as far as what you do. Depends on the project and where you're going to be going. There's some people that will go out for, say, a couple of weeks and do an upgrade in Taiwan and then come back. There's other people that, and there's some people that will ask to do it more and more and more. Will go to, you can go to Ireland for 3 months and come back. In between, they fly you back after a few weeks, or some cases they fly your spouse over there. So I know people that do some of the upgrades. They'll take their spouse with them because they get their hotel room paid for or a corporate apartment paid for. So they love the kind of lifestyle as well. So you can actually go see China, for example, and have some flexibility to do that while you're over there. But it's not like the military where you're just going to pull in for 2-3 days and come right back. Thanks, Morgan. They are from Portland. They're very progressive, I would probably put it that way. Our recommendation tends to be the more clean cut, the clean shaven, the better. Depends on how long your hair is. If your hair is neatly done and you got a clean shaven beard, it's okay as well. So if it's big and long and hipster style, probably not. Because what they're concerned about is PPE material that you have to put over your face and stuff as well. And how is that going to matter in some cases? But we typically recommend the more clean cut, maybe the better. At least until you get the job. They won't go that in depth, Carlos, as far as electronics questions go, I don't think. It would be more, tell me about yourself, tell me about the equipment you worked on, give me examples of something that you maintained or troubleshot. I don't think it's going to be in depth. I don't think there's going to be a schematic or anything. All right, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. All right, Omar, thank you. See you tomorrow. Nicholas, thanks. See you tomorrow. All right. Have a good night. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks. See you tomorrow.